Hello, good evening. Can you guys hear me? Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
How are you doing?
Fine, sir.
Okay, you're welcome. I hope all of you guys can hear me.
Yes, sir.
we can.
Okay, you are welcome. I want to appreciate. I want. I will do something. I will have to mute everybody because some people have background noise, so that they don't disturb every other person. So if you have anything, you can just type it in the chat room. I hope that's fair enough. All right, please, if you can hear me, go to the chat box and type in yes. If you can hear me clearly and see my screen, go to the chat box and type yes. If you can hear me and see my screen, can you type in yes? All right, once again, I want to welcome you guys, and I appreciate you and I celebrate you for being part of this program. My name is Oluwagbemiga Olushola Joshua. Some people know me as Oluwagbemiga Olushola Awogbami. We are one and the same. And this has been a dream. This has been my vision to demystify mathematics. And what I want to do is every session will be preceded by a short video, a very short video, at least to put us in the right frame of mind for the session. Please, if you can hear me clearly, can you type in yes in the chat room? If you can hear me clearly, please type in yes in the chat room. Thank you all. So I'm going to start now with the video, and I will want you guys to do something for me. I will need everybody will write down two, excuse me, you will write down two things, minimum of two things you are taking away from the video. Apart from the lesson, mathematics lesson we are going to take, you will write in two things that you are going to take away from the video. And then we will have to discuss that after the session. All right, if you are ready, let's go.
That the Creator identified himself with. The first one is the eagle. The eagle. And the second animal is the lion. And when I identified those two animals as his favorite to identify himself with, I recognized I better study these two animals, because if he is the leader of the universe and I want to be a leader on earth, I better find out the nature of these animals and also the aptitude of these animals. And I discovered that both of them are the kings of their domain. The eagle is the king of the bird kingdom, and the lion is the king of the animal kingdom. But let's talk a little bit about the lion. The lion has what I call the spirit of leadership. And this word spirit here is referring to attitude. Everybody say attitude. A leader has an attitude that makes him or her different from followers. Now, the lion is the king of the jungle, but the lion to me is a great source of encouragement to all of us. I want you to write this down. Remember this as long as you live. Number one, the lion is not the tallest animal in the jungle. Number two, the lion is not the largest animal in the jungle. Number three, the lion is not the heaviest animal in the jungle. Number four, The lion is not the smartest animal or the most intelligent animal in the jungle. And yet, when he shows up, they all run away. Well, here's one of my favorite quotes that I put in my books, and I believe it really brings home the point. An army of sheep led by a lion will always defeat an army of lions led by a sheep. And the answers to that dilemma is this: because leadership can transform cowards into violent warriors. The right kind of leadership can transform a timid into bold people who are fearless. Leadership is that powerful. Leadership can walk into a camp of depressed people, and in 20 minutes, they are turned on into unbelievable, powerful armies. Because leadership determines everything. The lion is the king of the jungle because of one word: attitude. Everybody say attitude. Write it down. Attitude. The lion has a different attitude that makes every animal afraid of him. Now, we don't want to lead by fear, but it does take respect for you to become a leader. When I use the word fear in the jungle, we're talking about respect. The elephant respects the lion. The hyenas respect the lion. The giraffes, they respect the lion. What makes these massive animals respect such a small cat? The attitude is the difference. For example, a lion will see an elephant, and the thing that comes to his mind, one word: lunch. I could eat this thing. And he acts the way he thinks. Now, here's another amazing mystery. The elephant is larger, bigger, stronger, more powerful, heavier, and more intelligent. And yet, when the elephant sees the lion, one word comes to mind: eater. Attitude is a product of belief. You cannot have an attitude beyond your belief. Your attitude comes from your belief system.
Hello. This is not connecting.
Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Hello.
Can you guys hear me?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Your network is breaking up. Your network is breaking up. You may need to change your position. Okay, I guess everybody in the waiting room has been admitted now. And I want to believe that for those of us who had the opportunity of seeing the video, I want to believe that we have takeaways from the video. So I would like to start by sharing some nuggets from the video. And the video is all about attitude. And for all you care, attitude is everything. Please, I hope you guys can hear me. Hello?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, okay, all right, thank you. Now, if you look at my screen, you will see this is a very popular thing for us. It's saying that if A, B, C, D up to Z is equal to 1, 2, 3 up to 26, that is, each alphabet is numbered, and you assign, according to, in alphabetical order, you assign numbers to the alphabet. You add them, you sum them together. Knowledge will give you 96%. Knowledge will give you 96%. Hard work will give you 98%. but attitude will give you 100%. And that is why people always say that attitude is everything. So what is attitude? What do we refer to as attitude? All right. So attitude is simply a settled way of thinking or feeling about something. What's your belief? What's your feeling? What's your thinking about that thing? What's your attitude about mathematics? What's your attitude about education? What's your attitude about life? I would like to recommend something for all of us. There's this book, Attitude is Everything by Kate Harrell. Please, can we note that book? It's very important. Attitude is Everything by Kate Harrell. Please, let's ensure we take the book and read it, and I can assure you that something will shift. Something will shift in you with that book. All right, I just have one or two other quotes for us on attitude. It says, your attitude is like a price tag. It shows how valuable you are. Your problem isn't the problem. So mathematics is not the problem. You not knowing mathematics, you not liking mathematics is not the problem. The problem is, what is your attitude towards your not knowing mathematics? All right, with that, once again, I welcome everybody that is just coming in. And please, you will do me a favor. Can everybody mute his or her mic, or I will have to mute everybody? I will have to mute everybody. Please, can we all mute our mics, please? Hello, can we all mute our mics, please? Thank you. So I have decided to start with trigonometry. Why am I starting with trigonometry? Is because trigonometry is something that applies across board. When I mean across board, irrespective of whether you're in SS1 or SS2 or SS3, you will have probably come in contact with trigonometry. And I see that a lot of students have one challenge or the other with trigonometry. Please, can we all see my screen and hear me? Can you all hear me clearly and see my screen? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you. So, what is trigonometry? Simply put, trigonometry is a branch of mathematics that deals with the relationship between the angles and sides of a triangle, or of triangles generally. So trigonometry is a branch of mathematics that deals with the relationships between the angles and sides of triangle. And if you look at the word trigonometry is coined from two words, triangle and geometry. Triangle and geometry. So simply put, trigonometry is triangle geometry. I hope that is making sense to us. So in this segment, we're going to have two segments on trigonometry. And in this segment, we will be focusing on right angle triangles. That is, triangles that have one of their angles equal to 90 degrees. So any triangle with one of its angles equal to 90 degrees is a right angled triangle. And you can see the illustrations here, irrespective of how the triangle is tilted, provided you can see a right angle sign there. It is a right angled triangle. All right. So let's look at this triangle that I have below here. In every right angle triangles, all the three sides have special names, depending on the angle that we are considering. And I want to assume that we all know that we have opposite, we have adjacent, and we have hypotenuse side. Hello? please can we mute our mics, please? Hello, Olami Pos is saying you can't hear anything. Hello? Hello? Can we all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, so I can continue. So I said right angle triangles generally have 3 sides, and they have special names depending on the angle of reference. If you look at the triangle that is on my screen, we have a right angle triangle ABC, and the right angle is at B. Now, the hypotenuse side is usually the side that is facing the right angle, meaning that hypotenuse is the side that is facing the 90 degrees. And it is usually the longest side. It is the longest side of the triangle. It is the longest side of the triangle. It has the longest side. So then, depending on the angle we are looking at, the opposite side is the side that is facing our angle of reference. The opposite is the side facing our angle of reference. For instance, in this triangle that I've just shown here, the angle of reference is at A. The angle of reference is at A. That implies that the side that is facing A is BC. So which means that side BC is our opposite. And similarly, the side that is connecting the right angle and our angle of reference, the side that is connecting our angle of reference and the right angle is referred to as the adjacent side. So that is what we have here. Now, if the angle of reference, you are looking at angle A as our theta. If, for instance, theta is removed and then placed at point C, if we change our angle of reference to C, that implies that our opposite side will now be AB and our adjacent side will now be
Oh,
C.
I don't even know. I'm not even using it.
Hello, Samuel, please can you mute your mic? Samuel, please can you mute your mic? I will have to mute everybody. All right. So if anybody has any question, if you have any question, you can just type it in the chat box. Thank you. So what we're saying is that depending on the angle of reference, opposite and adjacent sides can be interchanged, whereas the hypotenuse side is always constant. So we have talked about the opposite and the adjacent. So now we look at trigonometric ratios. There are 3 basic trigonometric ratios that will be considered at your level. And then these are the sine function, the cosine function, and the tangent function. The sine function is defined as the opposite over hypotenuse. And then we popularly refer to it as SOH, S-O-H, S standing for sine, O standing for opposite, and H standing for hypotenuse. Cosine function is adjacent over hypotenuse. So we see it as CAH, that's C-A-H, which is cosine is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. Then tangent function is TOA, that is opposite, tangent is equal to opposite over adjacent. I want to believe that that is making sense to us. So if we go back to our previous right angle triangle, ABC, we look at it and we can define our sine, cosine, and tangent of angle theta as follows. Sine theta is equal to BC, which is the opposite, over AC, which is the hypotenuse. cos theta is equal to AB, which is the adjacent, over AC, which is the hypotenuse. Then tan theta is equal to BC, which is the opposite, over AB, which is the adjacent. Now, before we continue, there is something I want us to quickly go to. I want to quickly check, I want us to quickly digress a bit. Normally, this is not usually treated under trigonometry, but because of its application in trigonometry, we need to look at it, and that's the Pythagoras theorem. I know a number of us are familiar with the Pythagoras theorem, but it's always good for us to refresh our memory. So what does the Pythagoras theorem say? Pythagoras theorem says that in a right-angled triangle, please note, very important, in a right-angled triangle, the square of the hypotenuse side is equal to the sum of squares on the other two sides. So if we consider the right-angled triangle that you are seeing on my screen, the hypotenuse side, which is the side facing the right angle, is xy. So side xy is the hypotenuse side, and it is denoted by small letter z. Then the other two sides are xz and zy. So what we're saying is that what Pythagoras theorem is saying is that this xy squared is equal to xz squared plus zy squared. Now, which also can be written as, with the small letter notations, using xy is equal to z. So that means small letter z squared is equal to x squared plus y squared. Now, at times, it is straightforward like this if you are asked to calculate the hypotenuse. But at times, you are given the hypotenuse, you want to find either of the two sides. Some students usually make mistake, but the only thing you just need to do is to do a rearrangement. And when you rearrange this equation, for instance, if we want to find x squared, our x squared will be equal to z squared minus y squared. Z squared, that is xy, which is the hypotenuse, minus xy, which z squared, which is the hypotenuse, minus xz, which it can be either opposite or adjacent depending on our angle of reference. Then also, if we are required to find y, our y squared will be equal to z squared minus x squared. I want to believe that that is making sense to us. As I've said, if you have any question, you can type it in the chat box. Now, I have put together some steps that you need to follow when you are dealing with problems involving Pythagoras theorem. Now, it is not that you have to cram, you don't need to cram these steps. But one thing I can assure you is that if you try like 2, 3, 4 examples, you try and solve them, the steps will practically become part of you. Number 1, if no diagram is given, you will need to figure out a diagram for yourself. If the question did not give you any diagram, you will need to draw a diagram for yourself. And if you are dealing with theory questions, diagrams always take a portion of the mark. And one thing I can guarantee you is that if you get the diagram wrong, from the word go, there is every possibility that the whole question will be wrong. So the first thing is we need to do the diagram and do it right. Then the next thing you do, you identify the right angle, because that is what differentiates trigonometry, a right angle triangle. So you need to identify which of your angles is a right angle. Most of the times, the question will tell you the particular angle that is the right angle. So you identify the right angle. Then you write down the sizes of the other angles and lengths, whichever one you are given, whichever information you are given, you note them on the diagram and you put the corresponding sizes. Then you mark out the size or the angle which you need to find. You mark out the size or the side or the angle that you need to solve for. Now, you now determine what do you need to use. By the diagram and the information given, you will need to determine whether you need to draw extra line, extra construction. Now, this is particular to isosceles triangle. If you are dealing with isosceles triangle, this may be necessary. But if it's a straight right angle triangle, this will definitely not be necessary. Then decide whether you will need Pythagoras theorem or sine ratio, cosine ratio, or tangents. Then you check your answer and ensure that it's reasonable. It is worthy of note, we said this earlier on, that the hypotenuse is the longest side in a right angled triangle. So if you solve it and it's looking like the hypotenuse is not the longest value you are getting, that implies that something is wrong somewhere. Then you need to look at your solutions again and figure out where something has gone wrong. I want to believe that we are getting value. If we are getting value, please go to the chat box and type in yes. If you are getting value, type in yes in the chat box. So let's look at this example. Okay. Someone that is using ITEL is raising up his hand. All right, do you have a question? Hello? You have been unmuted. Do you have a question? ITEL IT1513. Okay, let's continue. All right, so let's look at this question. Okay, Omotayo. Omotoyosi, you have been unmuted.
Yes, I'm not getting it.
Okay, which side are you not getting? Which side are you not getting? Where did you...
My phone has been hanging, the steps.
Sorry, okay, you need me to go back to the step. Okay, let me just quickly back up. Let me back up to the steps. Now, the first one, I said if no diagram is given. If you are not given a diagram, you will need to draw one yourself. Then you identify the right angle. The diagram, the information will always specify, will always lead you to which one is the right angle. The information will specify, will lead you to which of the side is a right angle. Then write out the sizes of the other angles and other lengths. If you are given any other length or any other angle, you will need to identify, you need to spot them on the diagram. When we get to a real life example, you will get that more. Then you will mark out the angle or the size that you need to solve for. Which one are you looking for? Which information are you looking for? Then you will now, from the information you have and the information you are looking for, you will be able to determine whether you need to do any extra construction. And as I've said, if your question is a direct right angle triangle, you don't need this step 5. Then after you have marked out everything, the next thing is for you to decide whether you need Pythagoras theorem or whether you will use sine, cosine, or tangent of angles. Then you check your answer if it's reasonable. As I've said, if you are asked to find the sides, you will always note that the hypotenuse is the longest side. And if you solve and your answer is showing that the hypotenuse is not the longest side, that shows that something is wrong somewhere, and you need to probably cross-check what you have done. All right, Omotayo, I want to assume that is Omotoyosi, sorry, I want to assume that that's better. Then when we do a live example, you will know, you will get it, you will understand better. Now, if we look at this example, this is example 1. We have a number of examples to look at. Example 1. We are given a right angle triangle, ABC, we refer to that our right angle triangle, and they ask us to find the value of theta. We're given side AB to be 12 centimeter and side BC to be 5 centimeter. Now, if we look at it, the first thing, if you follow the steps, I said you draw a diagram. We have already, we've been given a diagram, and I said the next thing is for you to identify your right angle, which we have also done. Our right angle is well identified. Then we mark out the sides we are given. You just write the sides, AB 12 centimeter, BC 5 centimeter. Now, you will now consider what is the relationship between side AB, which we are given, and side BC, and the angle theta that we want to find. What's the relationship? If you go back to our trigonometric ratios, the ratios we did, you will discover that, you will confirm that BC, since our theta is at A, BC is the opposite and AB is the adjacent. So which relationship, we'll now look at which relationship joins as involves opposite and adjacent. And which we will know from our earlier slides, that is tangent. So you can see from the information given, the trig ratio that will be appropriate for use is tangent. So that means you will now say that the tangent of theta, tan theta, is equal to opposite over adjacent. Our opposite is 5 and adjacent is 12. So 5 divided by 12, if you use a calculator, you will get 0.4167. Now, tan theta is equal to 0.4167. So if tan theta is equal to 0.4167, then what will be our theta? Our theta will be second function. We call it second function, or what you do, if you are using a calculator, you will press 0.4167, then you go to shift or second function on your calculator and press tan. You go to shift on your calculator and press tan. It will give you this, and it will give you the value of theta. Whereas there are some calculators that you will have to press shift, tan, and 0.4167. Am I making sense? There are some calculators that you have to press shift, tan, 0.4167 before you can get your answer. Please, does anybody have any question with this first example? Please, you can type it in. You can type it in the chat box. If you have any question, you can type it in the chat box. If you have any comment, Please type it in the chat box. And you know, from the notice I sent out, you know that you will discover that, okay, please, sir, you are too fast. Some of us are jotting, sir. Okay, you know what will happen? I will do you guys a favor. I will post the recording of the video of today's class on my YouTube channel. I will post the recording of today's class on my YouTube channel so that you guys can access it. So that you guys can access it and go over it over and over again. Then in our WhatsApp group, we can do a discussion of whatever is not clear to you. Whatever is not clear to you, you bring it up on the WhatsApp group or the Telegram group, whichever one you have, then we can track it together. Does that make sense to us, please? All right, ladies and gentlemen, my dearly beloved people, we are running, as a matter of fact, we have run out of time, and we may have to, today's class, we will have to stop, as in pause for today. Okay, Bumi is raising up her hand or his hand. Bumi, please ask your question.
Sir,
All right, I can hear you, Bumi.
you said that the question said find the hypotenuse, not the angle. Okay, sorry.
No, it didn't say find the hypotenuse, it said find theta.
Okay, I thought it said find hypotenuse.
Find the value of theta. If you read the question, it says find the value of theta.
Okay, sir. Thank
All
you,
right. Okay. As I've said, I'm going to post the recording post it in my YouTube channel. I will send the link to us, and we can download. For those of us who are on Telegram, I can post the video directly on Telegram. I will post the video directly on Telegram. That's why I would rather we all join the Telegram group, because on Telegram, you can send heavy files. Because the recording is going to be heavy, I may not be able to send it on WhatsApp. So once again, I want to appreciate you guys for being part of this session. And every question will be treated on the WhatsApp group and the Telegram group. So we'll meet again on Wednesday. Thank you for coming, and do have a wonderful evening. So see you guys on Thursday. Thank you.